Now look at this next question. If W1, W2, W3 are the work done moving a particle from A to B, okay, in the three paths. First part is this, okay, second is this straight line, and third is line going from here to here and then here. Then in the gravitational field, find the correlation between the work done in all the three paths. Now please remember here the gravitational force over here is conservative. So since the force is conservative, so in this case, whatever is the difference in the field at these 2 points, that for that difference, the work done will obviously remain the same. So work done does not depend on the path along which the object or the particle is moving. In this case, it just depends on the initial and the final positions, gravitational field forces, and for that value we can find out the equivalent work done, but in this case the work done will be the same. So it does not depend on the path. So if it does not depend on the path, then clearly the answer is third option. Now look at this next question. Question number 22. For a metallic wire, the ratio of the voltage to the corresponding current ratio is voltage to current V upon I according to Ohm's law is nothing but the resistance. Okay, and you know resistance when you consider for a metallic wire, okay, for a metal, because question में metal बोला, for a metallic wire the resistance is always, it is temperature dependent. Okay, so this is clear. From here we can understand the options. First option increases with the rise in temperature, second increases or decreases with the rise in temperature, decreases with the rise in temperature, or dependent. So in this case very clear, for metals as the temperature increases, then in that case the resistance value will also increase. So the answer is first option.
Okay students, this next question number 23 is from rotational motion. I'll read the question. A uniform rod of length 6L and mass 8m is pivoted at the center C. Two masses small m and 2m are moving with the speed of 2v and v as shown, strikes the rod and sticks to the rod. Initially the rod is at rest. Due to the impact, if it rotates with an angular velocity of omega 1, then what is omega? In this case, if I consider this is just like a question which we have done in the 12th standard part. If you remember in 12th standard, there was a question where there is a disc which is rotating about an axis and there is a blob of wax which sticks to the rotating disc. Both are rotating and we used to apply the law of conservation of angular momentum. So it's on the same ground over here, but in this case it's not a disc, it is a rod. Okay, a rod is initially at rest and there are two masses which are moving with some velocities and they stick to the rod, and now the rod as well as those masses, they start rotating about that axis passing through the center C. So you know angular momentum ka concept, right? Conservation of angular momentum says if angular momentum is taken as capital L, the initial angular momentum, okay, is equal to the final angular momentum, okay, as long as there is no external torque acting on it, right? So the initial angular momentum is what? Now initially understand here, very important thing given, initially the rod is at rest. So initially if the rod is at rest, so it's only those two masses, okay, which are moving. The two masses means this one, okay, this 2m and this one over here. यहाँ पे लिखा नहीं है, I'll write it m. So these are the two masses which are moving, right? And they are moving with some different velocities, okay, 2v and v, and their distance from the axis, इसका distance 2m का distance from the axis is l, and इसका distance m का distance from the axis is 2l. This one is moving with a velocity of 2v and this is moving with a velocity of v. You know angular momentum is also given by a formula. In place of I, if I write m r square and omega की जगह पे v by r ऐसा लिख दिया, तो एक एंगुलर मोमेंटम का अल्टरनेट फॉर्मूला मिलता है m r v, right? So the initial angular momentum, I'm just talking about the initial angular momentum. The initial angular momentum will be the angular momentum of this particle plus the angular momentum of this particle, right? And should I take plus the angular momentum of rod? If you want to take, but that will be 0. Angular momentum of the rod initially is 0 because the rod is at rest. So the initial angular momentum, if I call it as L1, will be equal to mRV. So first particle I am taking here 2m. So mass is 2m into r. R is the distance from the axis. इसका distance from the axis over here. Okay, it is given as L into v. इसका velocity is given as v plus the angular momentum of this particle. Okay, इसका mass कितना दिया है m into इसका distance from the axis 2l into इसका velocity कितना दिया है 2v into 2. तो ये कितना हो जाएगा? दिस विल बिकम लाइक 2 mlv and this will become like 4 mlv. 2 mlv plus 4 mlv, okay, that is equal to what? It will be equal to 6 mlv, and this is the initial angular momentum. Okay, if you want to write plus the angular momentum initially of the rod, the initial momentum of the rod, angular momentum of the rod is 0. ठीक है, क्लियर? सो इनिशियल एंगुलर मोमेंटम मिल गया, सबको क्लियर? हाँ, इसको वापस से लिख देता हूं मैं. Angular momentum conservation says the initial angular momentum is equal to the final angular momentum, or in this case L1 is equal to L2. L1 हम लोग को मिल गया, L1 was 6 mlv. Now we have to find out L2. Now to find L2 के लिए I'll take the formula. I'll not take MRV. Okay, angular momentum का दो formulas है, आपको मालूम है, एक है I ओमेगा और एक है I की जगह पे mr स्क्वायर में डाल दिया तो mrv, ये भी एक फॉर्मूला है. ओके, बट देन लाइक हियर इन दिस केस ना, सी दे आर आस्किंग अस द आंसर इन टर्म्स ऑफ ओमेगा, फाइनल ओमेगा. ओके, तो आई विल कीप इट इन ओमेगा ओनली. सो फाइनल एंगुलर मोमेंटम विल बी फाइनल मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया इनटू द फाइनल एंगुलर वेलोसिटी. व्हाट इज द फाइनल मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया? In this case, the final moment of inertia will be the moment of inertia of this mass 2m, moment of inertia of this mass over here m, and the moment of inertia of this rod. That will be the total moment of inertia in the final condition into omega 2, where omega 2 is the final angular velocity. So for the rod, the moment of inertia, you know, is given as ml square by 12. So in this case, what is the mass of the rod given to us as 8m? Okay, and what is the length of the rod? Length of the rod is given as 6l. 6l square means that will become 36l square upon 12. Okay, and in this case 12, if I just cancel this, 12 ones are and 3s are. So what do we get over here is 8 into 3, that becomes 24 ml square. This is the moment of inertia of the rod. So I am going here and writing the total moment of inertia will be moment of inertia of the rod, that is 24 ml square, plus the moment of inertia of this mass. Okay, again in this case I am taking the formula as what will be the formula for moment of inertia? Moment of inertia का formula याद रखो, that is nothing but mr square. So in this case m कितना है? 2m into r square. R square is the distance of this mass from the center, that will be L square. Okay, then plus ये वाला mass का moment of inertia, that will be m into इसका distance, that will be nothing but 2L the whole square into, let's say, omega or omega 2. Now if we solve this further, 24 ml square plus 2 ml square plus this will become 4 ml square. Okay, 4 plus 2, that is 6, 6 plus this will become 30 ml square into omega 2. Now this is L2. L2 मिल गया, L2 का वैल्यू है 30 ml square omega 2. Now as you know, conservation of angular momentum says L1 is equal to L2. So L1 is equal to L2. अगर इसको solve करें, okay, I'll just make some space over here to solve it. तो L1 का वैल्यू कितना है? L1 का वैल्यू है 6 mlv and L2 का वैल्यू कितना है? 30 ml square omega, right? In this case this is omega 2. So omega 2. So what will be omega 2? यहाँ पे कुछ कैंसिल हो रहा है, ये कैंसिल हो जाएगा. ओके, एक L कैंसिल हो जाएगा, ठीक है, और यू नो 6 1s and 6 5s, तो ये 5L बचेगा, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा V upon 5L is equal to omega 2, where omega 2 is the option क्या आएगा? ये थर्ड वाला V upon 2L, and that is the answer. Okay students, look at the next question number 24. A particle executes simple harmonic motion with amplitude A, distance traveled by it in one periodic time. Okay. हा क्वेश्चन है SHM चा, सिंपल हार्मोनिक मोशन. स्टुडंट्स तुम्हाला माहिती आहे की फॉर SHM, ओके, द बेसिक पॅटर्न इज व्हॉट, राईट? इफ दिस इज द मीन पोझिशन, हा मीन पोझिशन, हा एक एक्स्ट्रीम पोझिशन आणि हा दुसरा एक्स्ट्रीम पोझिशन, राईट? इथे डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज इक्वल टू 0, इथे डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज इक्वल टू प्लस a if I take it along the positive side of the x-axis, and इथे displacement is equal to minus a if I take it along the negative side of the x-axis, where a is the amplitude of the motion or the vibration. So इथे काय सांगितलंय, one periodic time. In one periodic time, what is one periodic time? Time taken to repeat a thing, okay, one set of a thing, whether it is an oscillation or a circular or what kind of a motion. Whenever it is a repeated motion, so for a repetitive motion or a periodic motion, the time taken to complete one repeat or one period is nothing but called as time period. तर इथे काय रिपीट होत आहे, ऑसिलेशन. ओके, आणि त्याचं प्रोसेस काय आहे, फ्रॉम द मीन पोझिशन. ओके, इफ आय स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द मीन पोझिशन, आय गो टू द एक्स्ट्रीम पोझिशन, देन फ्रॉम द एक्स्ट्रीम पोझिशन आय कम बॅक टू द मीन पोझिशन. फ्रॉम दिस मीन पोझिशन आय गो टू द नेक्स्ट एक्स्ट्रीम पोझिशन, and from here I come back to the mean position. So this is nothing but actually the one complete oscillation, and they are asking us what is the distance traveled. तो क्या simple है, यहाँ से mean position से start किया तो extreme तक पहुंचा, distance traveled is a, then from this extreme to this mean distance traveled किया a, and यहाँ से mean से next extreme a, and यहाँ से ये वापस mean पे आया a plus a plus a. So in this case, what will be the total distance traveled? Distance traveled will be 4a. Okay, please understand, ये बहुत basic question है. अगर आपको इतना सब नहीं आता है तो समझो, नहीं तो डायरेक्टली ये आंसर है. यहाँ पे जस्ट आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग यू, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम गोइंग इन सो मच डिटेल. यहाँ पे इतना सॉल्व करने का जरूरत नहीं है, बाय हार्ट करके रखो. डिस्टेंस ट्रेवल्ड इन वन कंप्लीट SHM इज नथिंग बट 4 टाइम्स द एम्पलीट्यूड. हाँ, एक चीज याद रखना कि डिस्प्लेसमेंट और डिस्टेंस में जरा ख्याल रखना. डिस्प्लेसमेंट इज नथिंग बट the shortest distance between the initial position and the final position. So initially it is starting from here, right? Initially it is starting from here, and then finally also it is coming over here. So initial और final position में जो displacement है यहाँ पे, वो तो 0 होगा. So displacement is given as what? 0. So ये ध्यान में रखना. Okay, if they are asking you distance or displacement, ये छोटा सा word है which can change the entire pattern. डिस्टेंस पूछा है कि डिस्प्लेसमेंट पूछा है, उसके हिसाब से गिव द आंसर. हियर दे आर आस्किंग अस डिस्टेंस, द आंसर इज 4a. हो गया. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे जाते हैं, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन सेज इक्विकॉन्वेक्स लेंस हैज अ फोकल लेंथ ऑफ f. इफ द लेंस इज कट along the line perpendicular to the principal axis passing through the pole, what will be the focal length of one of the half? Now in this case, here this is nothing but a equiconvex lens. here, ठीक है. अब इसको वो क्या बोल रहे हैं, they are telling us that it is cut along the line perpendicular to the principal axis. So you know principal axis is this is the principal axis. वो बोलते हैं कि it is cut along this line perpendicular to the principal axis. ये वाले लाइन पे उसको कट किया, तो ऑब्वियसली क्या मिलेगा आपको, ऐसा कुछ मिलेगा, राइट? एंड दे आर आस्किंग अस फॉर दिस व्हाट इज द focal length. If you cut this lens into two parts, now it has become like two plano-convex lens, right? So in this case, if I consider for two plano-convex lenses, okay, this is the first plano-convex lens, the second plano-convex lens, the resultant focal length is given by this formula. You know, combination of two lenses. You know, power of two lenses is always given as P is equal to P1 plus P2, where P1 and P2 are the power of the two lenses which are combined. And the focal length of the combination of the two lenses is given as 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2, where f1 and f2 are the focal lengths of the two lenses which are combined. Now in this case, if I consider the two lenses over here are this, okay. Now they have given us that the combination, मतलब the equiconvex lens over here, इसका focal length f था. और उसको कट करने के बाद वो जो हाफ पार्ट है उसका फोकल लेंथ कितना होगा. Now let us consider the half part over here. See, the half part is going to be identical. So the focal length of this f1 first plano-convex lens and the second plano-convex lens will be the same. Let us assume it as f dash. So I have to find out what is f dash. Okay. So 1 upon f will be equal to 1 upon f dash plus 1 upon f dash. That is 2 times f dash, or f is equal to nothing but f dash upon 2. Okay. So in this case, what happens to what will be the focal length of the half part? So f dash पूछा है, तो f dash कितना हो जाएगा? F dash will be 2 times f, and the focal length of each of this will be nothing but equal to 2f. तो आंसर क्या है यहाँ पे? 2f. और ये बाय ऐड करके चलो, क्यों बार बार सॉल्व कर रहे हो? प्लेनो कॉन्वेक्स लेंस हो जाता है, वो दो पार्ट्स हो जाते हैं, और अगर उसको ऐसे along the axis कट किया, perpendicular to principal axis कट किया, then the focal length will become twice and the power will become half. Okay. Now in this case, suppose ये तो समझ में आ गया. Suppose अगर मैं आपको बोलूं कि it is cut along this axis, it is cut along the principal axis. If it is cut this way, just understand now. Suppose if there is a ray of light parallel to the principal axis passing through this. Okay. In this case also, it will converge over here only now. So it doesn't make any difference. So in this case, if you are cutting along this axis, the focal length will not change. It will remain the same. But if you are cutting along this, then the focal length will become twice the focal length of the original. Okay, the new focal length will become. I hope you understood.